Hi, so I already recorded this video once, and then my phone I have an iPhone. You know the thing that they do where it's like can't load like a high definition version of the video, and then like I thought, oh, it might be my phone memory, so I deleted everything off my phone that I could, and there's plenty of memory to load the video, and my phone just went no, and it won't load at all. So I'm re-recording. But at least this means that this video might be less rambly and a bit shorter, and then maybe the video will actually work. So I'm reading Let's Not Meet stories from Reddit. I've already read these. In the first video I was reading them and reacting for the first time, which is slightly disappointed because I like that idea, but what can you do? I'm going to be reacting to it all again in this re-recording. I'm really annoyed. Anyway, let's just get right into it. So the first one is called Was He Gonna Murder Me? Which off the bat doesn't sound very good. Hey, my name is Emily. I'm 23 and I live in Kentucky. So in the summer of 2018 I was sort of in between gigs to pay for college, so I decided to work in a gym. I live in a small city, and for context, the gym was in the middle of nowhere near only an abandoned retirement home and a gas station, plus a few miles from a Target and a CVS. Kind of sketch, but pretty modern and safe. In the gym, there is a front desk with a narrow hallway. First floor for men's dressing rooms, treadmills, weights, and third floor is women's dressing rooms and everything else. One night, me and my 17-year-old colleague were the only ones left there to close, and there was a bunch of people still working out. We make our announcement about closing in 20 minutes and people start to leave. There's one guy still on the treadmill with headphones in, so I tap his shoulder to tell him we're closing soon. Now, before I read any further, I forgot to say at the start, obvious trigger warning, it's r/let's not meet, obvious trigger warning for creepy people. This one has a slight mention of like sexual things, and then other ones have like slight mentions of kidnapping and stuff, all the stuff that you would expect from r/let's not meet basically. Anyway, he smiles and nods and asks what my name is. I tell him my name and smile back. Then his face falls and he tells me, well, Emily, if you don't blow me right now, I'm not going anywhere, so fuck off, you little cunt. Now, I've already read this, but the first time I read this, I literally just sat there and I'm like, that's a bit all fucking it, like that is just all bam, right off the bat, because most of the time with these stories it's like, creepy thing, whatever, and then there's like a big thing. This was just, he was right in with it, like he was straight to the point. I'm in shock, but decide to let him do his thing until we close because I'm scared to say anything else. I go to clean the machines with my colleague and tell him what happened. He suggests we call our supervisor, so I do, and she tells me to just keep the gym open until he leaves because he probably won't stay for long and will get paid for overtime, which, shit supervisor, she should have been like, no, get out. Like, she should have just done anything that would have removed him and kept Emily safe. But she's more worried about being paid overtime. Bad supervisor. Anyway, back to the story. So we do our thing and everyone except him leaves. About the guy, he's about 6'4", broad man, black sweatsuit, and honestly not very clean cut. Strongly smells like alcohol and doesn't seem like someone who takes care of themselves. So me and this 5'3" high schooler are kind of scared already. After about 40 minutes, my co-worker is cleaning out the dressing rooms and I'm at the front desk when I hear him coming down the stairs. He checks out and stays to chat with me. He apologises for earlier and tells me he doesn't like when women boss him around, even though she did not boss him around, she just said, like, we're closing, like, she's doing her job, and that is not bossing you around, so fuck you. And then asks for my number. I tell him I have a boyfriend who's picking me up from work, which is a lie, but I didn't want him waiting around the building. He jokes about if he kidnapped me, I'd be all his, and tells me he's killed someone before for a woman, which wouldn't be surprising, going by, you know, his personality. I'm in shock, and he keeps talking, but I'm frozen. He mentions how he owns me now and is going to watch over me, which is creepy as fuck, but we already knew he was creepy. Then tells me goodnight, and goes down the last stairs to the front door, and I go back in to finish up, basically in tears. This is where I made a mistake. I should have instantly locked the front door, but I didn't. About 30 minutes later, when I'm left alone to close down, I head down to the corridor to leave. In the darkness, I see someone crouching behind the desk, but think it might be my co-worker, so I call out his name. He doesn't say anything. I get a bit closer, and then I smell the very strong sweat and alcohol on the guy from earlier. I get a gut feeling to go upstairs and text my co-worker, which is good, because that would end really badly if... I'm going to say you as if I'm talking to them, even though they probably wouldn't say this, but even you, if you ever have a job and you're in this situation, if you get a gut feeling that something's wrong, like, yeah, you don't need to freak out and call the police. Call someone. Especially if it's like if it's at work and you have a co-worker who could potentially be there, because it's better to like call them and make sure, and then you know what's going on, and then you can call the police if shit's fucked. Anyway, he tells me he already left and that I should call the police. While I'm sitting in the locked bathroom, I hear him walk into the women's dressing room and call out my name. I wait for a good 20 minutes before the police shows up to arrest him, and turns out he wasn't kidding and had gunned down a man before. The next day, I handed in my 20 days and only worked in malls after that. Now, what the fuck? It's a good thing and a bad thing that this happened. Very bad for her, but at the same time, he got arrested. He had literally killed someone. It is very good that she called the police and got him arrested. That's good. But I feel so bad for her. It's unbelievable. Because that sounds horrifying. Like, I used to work night shift in a fast food place. And I had my fair share of creepy people, but never to that extent. If that had ever happened to me, yeah, I understand why she quit. I would have just been like, nope, I'm gone. I'm out, bye. Now, this next one I chose because it reminded me of, you know that story? It's like it's a girl and she's home and she hears her mum call from the basement. She goes to go down the stairs to go see her mum and see what she wants, but then her mum grabs her on her way down and is like, no, don't go downstairs, I heard that too. And I'm like, creepy. But this one's called Someone Pretended to Be My Father and Tried to Break Into Our House, which obviously ghosty stuff versus just someone pretending to be your dad. Like, it's different, but at the same time still creepy. Hello Reddit. Not sure if this is the right subreddit, but I really didn't want to meet that person, so here we go. A little context. My dad and I live together in our own multi-family home in Germany. My dad has a serious lung condition. His lungs produce and trap an excessive amount of mucus. The trapped amount is huge and keeps his lungs from working correctly. It's pretty normal that he has to be picked up by an ambulance every 2 to 3 weeks because he can't breathe anymore. My aunt has that. It is shit. Hers isn't as bad, like, as his dad's is, but it's still pretty bad, so not fun. I hope his dad's okay. Last week, it was that time of the month. He couldn't breathe. I called an ambulance. He was brought to the closest hospital. Pretty normal for me because this happened at least 10 times in the last 6 months. So I went to bed after he got picked up on Tuesday. I went to work the next morning and got a text from him that he has to stay for at least 2 more days, approximately Friday. Wednesday evening, I got home from work and played a match of Rogue Company when someone suddenly rang the doorbell. That's unusual because we never have unannounced visitors. I walked to the door and was about to press the door buzzer to open the main door when I heard, I believe, more than one voice directly in front of my door. So that someone just got past the main door. Weird. I asked in German, hello, who is it? Silence for 3 seconds. Then a person who sounds like my father but at the same time doesn't answers, Micah, it's me, I forgot my keys, open the door. I thought, okay, in that case, wait a minute. My dad never calls me Micah, only I'm not good at pronouncing things. It's either Miki or Michi or something. One of the two, I'm very sorry. And there was that sarcastic tone in that voice. I didn't trust the situation. I called my father on his phone. If the person in front of my door was my father, his phone should ring, right? Right. It didn't. Big whoop. My father answered, and as I suspected, he was still in the hospital. Meanwhile, the two people on the other side of the door heard my phone call and started kicking my door. "Let me in, Micah. It's your daddy. Let me in." Thank God that door is reinforced. After I threatened them with calling police and having a big ass knife in my hand, they left. I heard their footsteps running down the staircase. I rushed to a window facing the street to check if I can see a car or a license plate. Nothing. Just a few footsteps in the distance. They never came back. What's weird is that they knew my name and that my father wasn't home despite his car standing in the driveway. Shit was hitting the fan when a buddy reported something similar. We called the police. Investigation in progress. Now, when I read this earlier, I was like, investigation in progress. Updates. Also, all the links to these will be in the description of this video, so you can go read them and read the comments and all yourself. But I read the comments earlier. Basically, the police investigation was stopped because there were no clues or anything, which was very disappointing to read. But at the same time, if it's not going anywhere, I can kind of understand. But then at the same time, that's really creepy, and someone could, like, open the door to them and then bad shit will go down. So I don't know, I think it should have stayed open, but what can you do? Anyway, the next one's called "Someone Followed and Chased Me and My Friends in the Woods." This happened about 5 or 6 years ago. Me and my friends were freshmen in high school. We frequently went into the woods near our school that had some abandoned structures. Sometimes we went in there to smoke, graffiti, or just otherwise explore. It was always a pretty fun time. On a fall day after school, we decided to go exploring in the woods as we would usually do. For the first 10 or 15 minutes into our adventure, everything was normal. Then, eventually, we came across a tree that had a dagger sticking out of it. I immediately got a horrible feeling. One of my friends, Nathan, went over to the tree and took the dagger out, and sure enough, it was 100% real. I'm not exactly sure what I was thinking, but part of me was hoping it was some sort of gag toy. We all just kind of looked at each other, little weirded out, but didn't think much of it. Maybe thought someone left it there before we came to mess with whoever came across it. That sentence doesn't have very good punctuation, and I had to repeat that about 4 times the first time I filmed this. That's what we were all hoping for. Nathan put the dagger in his backpack and off we went. It wasn't long after we came across the tree that things started to get weird. I was the first to notice it. There was a man in all black following us, keeping a good distance away. He was always to the right of us, hiding behind some trees. From what I could see, he looked to be an average height man wearing a black hoodie, black jeans and black boots. I wanted to leave the second I saw him, but when I told my friends what I had seen, I don't think any of them believed me. They just kinda laughed it off. Either they thought I was seeing things or they thought someone was just messing with us and they didn't feel very threatened by it. I would feel terrified, but you know, not everyone's like me. By the time we were about 40 minutes into the woods was when they finally saw him. This time he was a lot closer, about 30 feet away from us. I still couldn't make out much detail about his face because he had his hood on and his head down, although I could see he was wearing a white t-shirt underneath his hoodie. Everyone froze for a brief moment. There were 4 of us, and we just stared, not really sure what to do with the situation. Everyone stood in silence for about 3 very long, very scary seconds until he ran farther back into the woods behind some trees until we couldn't see him. I grabbed onto Nathan's arm, who was the closest to me, and said, "We have to go now." I had a horrible pit in my stomach. At first, we made our way back to the entrance of the woods at a jogging pace. I think we were all trying to downplay the experience in our minds to not invoke pure fear and panic, which is good. Level-headedness is good in scary situations. It can be very useful. You need to have your logic. We kept at that pace for a minute or two until we heard leaves crunching and sticks breaking behind us. We turn around and there he is trailing us. We start running and he starts chasing us. I was the one behind the group, so the man was closest to me, and I could hear his heavy breathing. That's how close he was to me. I hate that. An arm's length away. We picked up our speed and I thought for sure I was going to pass out because I was fairly out of shape. Me too, but you know. But luckily we made it out in about 25 minutes, stopping once or twice to catch our breath when the man wasn't in sight. Once we all got out, we just kind of looked at each other trying to figure out what the fuck just happened. We didn't talk much about it after that. I don't think any of us wanted to think about it for too long. Looking back on it now, we probably should have reported it to the police in case that man tried to hurt any other innocent kids going into those woods, but unfortunately the thought didn't cross our minds. I don't know if it was him who placed that dagger in the tree or why it was there, and honestly I don't want to think about it. I don't know why he was there or what his intentions were. I'm just glad we got away, and I hope he hasn't hurt or tried to hurt anyone since. So, to the man who followed and chased me and my friends in the woods, let's not meet again. Yeah, I really don't like that. Well, I really don't like any of them, like, they're all creepy. So, yeah, of course I don't like them, but, you know. Now, I'm going to stop there, because in the original video I had 5 stories, which was good, but I think it's just, I can only record on my phone, and there must be something with my phone where it doesn't like really long videos, because my other ones have been like 10-15 minutes, like before, whenever I filmed videos, like 20 minutes is fine, but that one was over half an hour, and I think that was just too much for my phone to deal with. I'm going to see if I can figure that out, so I can do longer ones, but for now I'm going to leave this one at 3. I will be doing more of these, whether you like it or not, like whether the people already here like it or not. You don't have to watch these. I will have more videos. I've been planning. I know I have a book for planning my videos and whatever. So at the minute, plan for the next week is quite a lot of this type of video, but not all. So Let's Not Meet is going to be a series, but so stuff like ghosts, like paranormal stuff, as well as like made up stories, like written fictional stories. Like fictional stories will also be a thing. I really want to do stuff to do with SCPs, because SCPs are so cool and so creative, and the fact that so many people have made and like contributed to it makes it even cooler. It's such a big community. I love it, so I'm hoping to do one of those. And I'm also going to be doing, hopefully, these ones are going to take more time to make and put together. I really want to do like murder mystery ones, like videos, but that takes a lot more time, because these is literally just go on Reddit, like find some stories. Today I literally just picked random ones. I just scrolled up a bit, picked some random ones that I thought the title sounded cool. But obviously murders, the real things, you need all the information. I'm going to end up watching like court trials and stuff, which is very interesting to me. It just means they won't be as frequent as like reading things, but a lot of the things that I read, like there's a Reddit called Unresolved Mysteries, which I'm planning a video on, so I will be doing some like murder, like mystery stuff, but videos that are all just my information, my research, will take a lot longer and take a lot more time. So I do have one planned in a week. That's what that one is. That's my first murder one, because I'm taking the day off the day before to plan it, as well as doing planning like now, but I'll need the day off to fully do it. But yeah, sirens. I'll wait. Okay, they're far away. I think that's this video's done for now. If you see this outfit again, it means that I've recorded another video today, because being here in my uni accommodation, even though this was literally like, I was so depressed and all I did was sleep here for months, I don't know, being back here, I think it's like being away from my parents, which sounds bad, but it's like, it's the independence really makes me want to work. And YouTube is something I have wanted to do for years, and I've kept putting it off and I've kept putting it off, and I finally decided to do it. And being here just makes me like, I want to do it. So if you see the same outfit in a few videos, that's why. It's because I've wanted to record for a long time, and I'm getting to. But I'm gonna go before this video gets way too long. So bye.